Canals. Canal.
Canal.
A great sea canal linking two great oceans.
A great sea canal linking two great seas.
Galleons passed this way, and adventurous men, silent, and upon a peak in Darien, gazed, amazed, at another ocean.
Hobgoblins fly and witches curse here, where Aurora Borealis shimmers and dances, turquoise and violet before the icy stars.
A great sea canal linking two great oceans.
A great sea canal linking two great seas.
Water like coffee.
Water like glass.
A bridge of water, up and over the continental divide.
A veritable staircase, striding over the taiga.
Canalized river, locks, the cut, a huge man-made lake, the largest dam yet built, more locked, canalized river.
Several canalized rivers, locks, a series of natural lakes, more locks, more canal.
50 miles, rising to 85 feet.
141 miles, rising to 360 feet.
110 feet wide and 42 feet deep. 6 geological faults, 5 volcanic cores, and 17 types of rock.
118 feet wide and 13 feet deep. Rocky soil, boulders, swamp.
34 years in the building. 34 years of toil, spoil, expectation, and despair.
20 months, start to finish. We will build it cheaply and strong and ahead of time.
Opened, finally, in August of 14, just as other nations went to war.
August 1933, and on to the next. There would be many such great projects.
Trade will increase, and money will beget money. The poetry of capitalism. Expeditions, surveys and plans, governments cajoled, 100,000 subscribers, conferences held, concessions purchased, acts of parliament, shares floated. Never have capital and science so united to end the resistance of nature.
The father of the nations merely said, "We will have a canal from here to here."
And more flotations, and fortunes were made, and fortunes were lost, and fortunes were made again.
We do not speak of fortunes, we speak of necessities and achievement.
Idealistic young engineers from France, Germany, Britain, Switzerland, Russia, and Poland. Workers from Jamaica and Barbados escaping the slavery of sugar. Colombians, Venezuelans and Cubans, Spaniards and Italians.
Idealistic engineers, yes. Wreckers, hooligans, class enemies. And teachers, priests, doctors, and economists. Shopkeepers, mullahs, industrialists, the gentry. They were sent tens of thousands at a time. And no one got to the same subcamp as his father because they wanted to break up families.
Most of us came here with the same spirit as a soldier going to war. You never lose the infection. Some call it canalitis.
Anna's fourth arrest. She had participated in a musical society of teachers and workers, deemed a nest of free thinking. She got 5 years.
And what machines? Steam shovels, ladder excavators, dredgers, locomotives, and spoil cars.
What machines? We have pick, shovel, and wheelbarrow. There are such crags in our path that the drills break.
We would start the day with a pint of champagne frappe to kill the microbes.
They served only a murky dishwater with fish heads and individual millet grains. The canal is lined with bones.
The huge lock gates swing on human gristle. Continual rain on swampy ground. 50 acres of hillside slid into the cut, a tropical glacier, and continued slipping for the next 10 days. For 120 degrees of dust-choking heat.
At -40, centigrade and Fahrenheit cross paths. The thermometer wrings her hands and averts her eyes.
Miasma, cholera, Chagres fever, yellow fever, malaria. Canal man, he come here to be rich, but a great death wind blow down the ditch.
We canal army men are tough, but that is not our chief trait. We are part of a great epoch on the path that leads us straight.
There were larvae in the top of his nose. They burrowed into his head and killed him. Pneumonia, typhoid, dysentery, hookworm, and there were rats and snakes and tarantulas scuttling down the hammock ropes. At night, a torment of itching and scratching, we were eaten alive, and mosquitoes were breeding in the font of the cathedral.
Dysentery, malnutrition, starvation. Trainloads of Zeks kept on arriving and arriving before there were barracks there. And how were trees to be felled if there were neither saws nor axes? And there were not enough tents, so we slept out in the snow.
They died in the streets and under houses. The bodies were pecked at by buzzards. An unconsidered labourer, buried simply, rolled down an embankment and 20 carloads of earth are rolled after him.
At the end of the workday, there are corpses left on sight. The snow powders their faces. One was hunched over beneath a wheelbarrow. He had hidden his hands in his sleeves and frozen to death in that position. Two were welded back to back, leaning against each other. They were peasant lads, the best workers one could possibly imagine.
A further bond issue was massively oversubscribed. 8 issues in as many years, but never enough. And they were like gamblers whose hopes rise highest when their losses have been the greatest.
And it was built with not a morsel of foreign exchange. What capital is more precious than human capital?
The temptation to throw good money after bad was irresistible. You never lose the infection. Some call it canalitis.
20 months, from start to finish. The great architect marked a line on the map.
The biggest crash since markets began. The heavy mix of optimism and unreality, the folly and gullibility of capital.
You have to understand that social prophylaxis was being widely applied. These were progressive institutions, free education centres for political and other criminals who burned with creative fever. The one and only means of correcting offenders is productive labour.
But with sufficient expenditure of time, money, brains and energy, the canal can be finished. Welcome, new imperialists. We shall run the world's business, whether the world likes it or not. Not private capital, but a government enterprise.
It was always a government enterprise. Look at their inspired and happy faces. These women do not think about children or home, but only about the canal which they have come to love so.
A diplomat does not steal, he only annexes. Engineer a revolution, create a republic, finish the canal. The canal is lined with bones, the huge lock gates swing on human gristle. The dynamite was unstable in the heat. 22 tons went off. I saw the flesh hanging on faraway trees.
Many were crippled and killed in the crowding and chaos in the course of dynamiting rocky crags.
Yanti stepped over the first 2 tracks, but then just as he reached the third, he turned to wave to his wife and baby son. At that moment, he was hit by locomotive 215. His pelvis and lower extremities were completely crushed. He had an awful time dying.
At night, the sledges went out and collected them. And in the summer, bones remained from corpses which had not been removed in time. And together with the shingle, they got into the concrete mixer, and in this way they will be preserved there forever.
The canal is lined with bones. The huge lock gates swing on human bristles. And in the final 4 years of the construction, 100,000 tourists came to marvel at the enterprise.
And the just completed canal was visited by 120 of our finest writers. And a book was compiled in praise of the project. So how many died?
Building the canal over 34 years, at least 27,000. So how many died?
Building the canal in 20 months. They say 100,000.
History shuffles in her shoes, shrugs inside her overcoat. History is not his story.
Or her story.
History is painted by leaders, winners.
History is taught by academics to well-nourished students.
History does not scrape the flesh.
Freeze the blood, snap the sinews. So why so silent, oh great canal? Some small freighters, the occasional timber barge, a few pleasure boats. Was it that you were built on a whim? The father marked a line on the map. We will have a canal from here to here.
But money will beget money. Trade and prosperity will increase. The shipping routes converge like the ropes of a hammock. The ships pass through in constant carnival procession. A great sea canal linking two great oceans.